It's so good to be here today. They used to say that South Fulton was Fulton County's best kept secret. Well, we're no secret anymore. While I was born and live in Atlanta, I would like to thank the next great city in Georgia. That's right, us, South Fulton. I want to thank the People's Campaign, our House of Representatives, the legislation, everyone that had an input and impact and a voice into us achieving cityhood. I want to thank my fellow mayoral candidates and all the different candidates that are running for the 7 district seats, the district council seats. But most of all, I want to thank all of my fellow citizens of South Fulton. I want to thank the families, the mothers, the fathers, the elders of our community. I consider it an honor and a privilege to speak in a place and come into your homes tonight or today to address someone in an area that I've known as home for 41 long years. And it's a blessing to be able to stand here and record this video, to go out in the neighborhood on the internet and reach my neighbors, family, and friends. And thank you again for allowing me to come into your home with open arms. So as your choice, your first choice for South Fulton's mayor, and now we think about 2017, and a lot has already happened in 2017. Some great things have happened. But I want to encourage you and remind you that 2017 is a year of new beginnings. See, 2016 was our year of completion. We completed getting sovereignty and forming our own city. And now 2017 will usher in the formation of the new limits of the city of South Fulton. Now, you may have heard new limits before, but see, I coined that phrase, the new limits of South Fulton, because my friends, it is the year for us as a city to push out. This is the year for us to start thinking big. See, we played small while other parts of unincorporated Fulton County became cities over these past 9 years. And now it's time for us to step up our game. And we can do it because, see, we're starting something brand new. And that's what the new limits of South Fulton suggests. It suggests to start something new. We need to make certain that we use leadership ability that requires your leadership ability to begin something that opens up new opportunities for all of us, for yourself, for your family, for your children. 2017 is the year of discovery. It's discovering new things and of doing new things. In fact, the charter of Fulton County is rooted in the soil of revelations. The book says, "Behold, for I am doing a new thing, says the Lord." So 2017 is not a year for us to procrastinate. It's not a year for us to play small. It's not a year for us to just maintain status quo or to be slacked and procrastinate on what it is that you desire to achieve or that you desire to do. The vision of this year, as Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Man, a mind, he says all of nature, all of it is conspiring to produce and manifest the freedom of the individual that it may unloose its own energy. He says everything is conspiring on your behalf. Well, let's make it a little bit more personal. Everything and everyone is conspiring on our behalf as a new city. That is a city of 7 districts and 1 vision. Now, we may live to become a little older, but we got to make certain that right now we go do and be all that we want to do, pushing the new limits to where we want to go, have all that we want to have through the presence and power of your efforts and of your actions and your rights as a sovereign city. Everything is working for our good. This is our year. This is the perfect year for South Fulton. So all of my family, friends, and neighbors that are watching out there, if you've ever been waiting to start your business, if you've been waiting to go back to school to learn that skill that you feel makes you even more marketable to potential employers, or have, just been waiting to do something new, I urge you to do it. Do it this year. Get busy doing it this year. And see, we're going to do it right now, this year, the first time around, so that the momentum that we build may support you in your efforts to increase your prosperity and your happiness. And as we consider this special election coming up on Tuesday, March 21st, I remember back in November and December when I was only contemplating whether or not I was going to enter the mayoral race. And because I realized that a lot of people that I knew voted against the city, and they are fearful about the outcome our sovereignty will bring. And I came in today, I'm at a school, so you may hear school bells. I am looking out at students and teachers. But I came here today with a speech in mind to record and outlaw and cast out onto the internet. But that speech grew its own idea, and then it changed this idea, and then it decided it wanted to become a speech of its own. So right now, the speech I prepared, it's preparing to change right now. And that happens sometimes. See, it decides it wants to change. The thought might change, and that may be because I'm a little nervous about recording this speech, or maybe I'm excited and inspired. And the foundation, however, the core of my candidacy remains rooted in the soil of revelations. Behold South Fulton, for we are doing a new thing. So get ready for the newness, the change. See, change is good. It may be scary, but it's good. The late, great Sam Cooke told us a change is going to come. Nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable. Imagine, if you will, you go to the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A or your favorite drive-in diner, and the voice on the intercom says, "Oh, it'll be my pleasure. Please drive around, and your total is $9.50. You drive around and you give them a $10 bill. You're going to have your hand out the window, because guess what you're expecting back from that person at the window? That's right. You're expecting your change. Because see, your mind knows nature and natural law demands change. See, your body is going through a change right now as you watch or listen to me. It's changing all the time. Imagine, if you will, your body didn't change the food that you eat into an energy source. And then you could use that energy source throughout your day. And then further, imagine if it didn't change that same food into material that is eventually eliminated from your body and returned to the earth from which it came. I know that's a little graphic, but imagine what would happen to you, to the earth, without that process of change. That's right. If our body didn't go through change, if it did not change, we would die. Have you ever heard of the old saying, you don't drink water downstream from the herd? I thought about that, and the reason that they say that is because, see, all the change that happens within that herd, that change flows into the water, and the remnants float downstream. And if that stream doesn't have anywhere to go to keep it filtered and full of fresh water, or if somewhere upstream there's a blockage, a tree may have fallen down and there's a blockage in the stream, what happens is still water occurs downstream. And we know what happens in still water, where there's no new water flowing in, no freshness. Larvae, mosquitoes, and contaminants from the herd grow, and they fester into this sort of unsanitary gunk. So see, everything is always changing. I'm changing. You're changing. Our city is changing. We all should be changing. That's living. And I look at my son, who is now 4, and sometimes at night I'll just look at his picture from the hospital that was taken when he was only a few years old. He was a few hours old. He was just born. And I don't say to my wife or call up his grandparents and say, how my son has changed from just 4 years ago. No, I'll say, how he's grown. And then I'll go into the kitchen and may get on his mother to make certain that we're giving him the best choice of food with the proper nutrients, so that our son will continue to grow stronger and more energetic. Because with those proper nutrients, we get to get it right the first time. See, if we select the best food choices for him the first time, we stand a greater chance of not having to go to the doctor or taking him some time to try to get a shot and fix something that his parents, we, had something to get right and had the opportunity to get right the first time. But we all know that that doctor will fix us right up with that shot. You know, in the end, he or she'll give us that magic pill, and yeah, it may cause blindness or a heart attack or a stroke, but it'll mask the symptoms that were caused by us not getting it right the first time. So I stand here coming into you via internet or however you're looking at me, and I know I'm looking at a diverse group of ages, careers, personal status. Some in South Fulton are employed right now. Some in South Fulton are unemployed, unfortunately. We have different religious and political backgrounds. We're a mixture of all races, marital status, physical features. A lot of us have high school diplomas, some of us don't. A lot of us have college degrees, PhDs, masters. Some of us still have college loans. Some of us have the benefit of not having college loans. And even those of us, we have children that we may homeschool or chose to put in private school or public school or even a charter school. And yes, in South Fulton, we even have some with a different sexual activity or orientation, and that's all right. And I know that South Fulton is a compilation of beautiful groups of different arrangements of God's creations. And I stand here with each of you as we represent a smorgasbord of individuals that share a common thread, a knowing that to win this year's election as progressive citizens of hope, faith, we must unite our city. Now I wonder if you're aware that some in my own South Fulton community question me about my choice to run to be the first choice for mayor of the city. To run for the mayor of South Fulton. And even though while I voted for cityhood both times, some people said that I shouldn't run because I have friends, family, co-workers, and neighbors who didn't want to become a city. That I had some friends over off of Old National that would have rather have gone into Union City. That I had friends in the Cochran Mills area that would have rather been part of Douglasville. And because some people feel that this city is only for a specific corridor, or that the tax base or the leadership or schools, something had to be wrong. And these are all valid concerns from citizens who are concerned, because that cityhood will directly affect them. And this, my friends, is exactly why I decided to run. You know, and then I was thinking about issues that sometimes pose themselves as problems. And it reminded me of a time in the past when I was this know-it-all teenager. And I was walking with my older brother, and we were walking down to a lake to go fishing. And I had this scowl on my face. And I was blaming the world and everybody in it for all of my problems. You all know any teenagers that can do that at times? And see, my older brother asked me, Robert, what's wrong? And I told him that the teachers and the administration in my school didn't have a clue. And everything that they were doing it wrong. And because they were doing it wrong, it was going to mess up my chances of getting accepted to a good college and getting 2.5 children and having a beautiful job and house on the hill. So I begrudgingly shrugged my shoulders and proceeded to complain to my brother. Then my brother, being older and wiser, he just kind of cut me off mid-sentence and said to me as we neared the bank of the lake, he said, Robert, do me a favor, pick up a stone and toss it in the lake. I gave my brother this look as if to say, are you serious? And my brother just kind of repeated himself, adding, just humor your old brother. Just go ahead, pick up that stone. So I leaned down, picked up a smooth round stone, and I just kind of flipped it in the lake. And my brother looked at me with this little smirk and he said, now what do you notice about the lake, Robert? And see, I wasn't sure where he was going with all this. So I said, well, I noticed there are ripples in the water. My brother said with another smirk on his face, well, Robert, can you stop the ripples? Of course I can't stop the ripples, I told my brother. My brother said, go ahead, give it a try. See if you can stop the ripples caused by the stone that you threw into the lake. So I chose to once again humor my older brother, and I kneeled down and on the shore of the bank, and I stuck my hand into the lake, and I was searching through trying to find that pebble, and then I removed my hand, and my brother asked, as I just kind of stood up shaking water from my hand, he said, well, Robert, let me ask you this. Look at the lake. Were you able to stop the ripples by removing the stone you flipped into it? So I was aggravated, and I said, no, no, I did not stop the ripples. You can't stop the ripples. All I did was cause more ripples, and I was frustrated. So then my brother just kind of looked at me. He gave me this warm smile, patted me on my left shoulder, and he said, Robert, what if you had stopped the stone before it hit the water? He looked me square in the eyes, and he said, Robert, the next time you are unhappy with your life and want to complain or blame someone else, take action and catch the stone before it hits the water. See, don't spend so much time trying to undo what has already been done. Rather, change your thoughts, change what you're going to do the next time before you do it, and make the outcome the best possible outcome and that you can. And see, that reminded me of the juncture where we are here now in South Fulton. We are erecting a governing body of local, city, municipal government. And all right, the media shows where a lot of Americans are currently up in arms and are questioning the direction that our country is headed in. Some question it over the past 8 years, and some people are even questioning with the new presidential leadership where we are headed as a country over the next 4 years. And I'm not here today or right now to make this national soapbox speech, but most of our country are in a kind of wait and see mode. You may or may not be in a wait and see mode as it relates to our new city of South Fulton. So, but what I want you to think about, we should have some people that may say we shouldn't have become part of the city. We should have just voted to go to Atlanta, or some may say we should have become our own city, or you may be part of that percentile that just wanted to stay like we were in an unincorporated Fulton County status. And what I'm saying to all of you all, what I'm going to share with you here today is equally applicable no matter what. But if you are a part of my neighbors that has an angst and uncertainty about the direction and future of our city, then I have a word for you. If you're in that percentage that think that forming a new city was the best option for us, and you're optimistic and hopeful about why I'm standing here before you running for mayor as the first choice for mayor, and you want to know where we're headed and you want us to hurry up and get there, then I also have a word for you. That word is from the Bible, and it reads, if my people who are called by my name should humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land. That's a lot, I know. And so the first time I saw and heard that passage, it was sent to me by a friend and a clergyman. And my eyes immediately went to the very first part of that verse. If my people. And I noticed that it does not say if Donald Trump, if Barack Obama, if Nathan Deal, if Robert Bonner, if Kasim Reed, or if the U.S. Supreme Court, if your employer, or the Federal Reserve. It doesn't say if the president of the Fulton County School Board. It doesn't even say if the South Fulton police chief. That verse begins, if my people. See, that verse is directed to the very same people who founded and defended and furthered and nurtured this great country. It is directed to you. So if you think that that call to action, that call to arms is for someone else, if you feel that it is for the politicians and the other candidates for mayor or the city council, or if it's for your boss, your manager, maybe you're a student and you feel it's for your principal or the CEOs or the CDOs or the teachers or the college professors, or maybe it's just for football stars and movie stars, or maybe some famous rapper from Atlanta. It is not. That verse is directed to you. And I want you to do something for me. I want you to think for a moment right now. In your own lifetime, has the influence of government gone up or down? And has the influence of our community, our homes, the church, and the family gone up or down? See, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, driving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute a new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them all will seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. South Fulton, just like that passage, we too have declared our independence. And I have a deep respect for public office, and especially local public office. The reason I respect local public office so much is because that's where change really happens. It doesn't just manifest itself on a national level. See, we're considering right now becoming a new city. And as I was considering becoming the first mayor, I considered all the responsibilities that will inherently come with that title. And I realized that local government is the purest form of democracy. See, only in local government are the principles of the power of the people most clearly demonstrated. Presidents aren't recalled. Presidents aren't even popularly elected. You know, we had a big arms about that with the Electoral College. See, the founders put in a buffer that existed from back in the beginning all the way to the 20th century, where our House of Representatives was directly voted for by the people. And they were only elected to be in office for 2 years. See, the founders of America realized the need for the stability on a national and state level, and they felt that that could only be attained by reducing the impact of the will of the people on the local level, and it shifts so frequently because the population shifts so frequently in the neighborhood. And right now, as we think about local government has a different creed. Local government works in response to the will of the people. And that's how it's supposed to work, because its bank accounts and its offices are filled by us. It's filled with your neighbors, your family, your friends. Our local government exists to respond to our needs, while securing our rights within the customs and beliefs held most dear by the people who live in our community. And our schools in South Fulton show how impactful local civic responsibility can be. Our schools are usually staffed by locals. The teachers are locals. They're funded by locals with your property taxes, and they should be attended by locals. Our school boards answer to the people of their districts in our city, and they hire the superintendent, who is in turn, that person will staff the schools in the districts. And it all comes down and it comes out of the will of the people. So right now, even as you prepare to cast your first vote as your first choice for mayor, we have one concerted choice that we have to come up with. And we have 7 districts. And within those 7 districts, some have expressed to me that they feel disenfranchised. Some citizens of South Fulton are dissatisfied with the election process and have expressed that they're dissatisfied with past leadership and even the cityhood process. And therefore, there was some opposition within our boundaries forming a city. And see, our city is faced with standing up and starting off against this historic split over its fundamental principles and identity. See, county leaders have been stuck in this head-on collision with districting resentments, a head-on collision with economic strain, and a head-on collision with the working South Fultoner who says through clenched teeth, with forced restraint, the elected officials, Robert, I feel, have never done anything for the working men and women like me, and we haven't had any substantial growth within our boundaries in years. And I remember I researched and I saw where the State Department published a picture of the first American seal of the United States of America. On that seal, it wrote, on the 4th of July, 1776, the Continental Congress sought out that John Adams, Ben Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson form a committee to construct a seal for America. And see, we're gathered here today as South Fultoners that have work that still needs to be done. And so we are not gathered here today to bash other candidates or bash the leadership or try to tear them down. See, they are all good people who put their heart and obligation at the feet of the citizens each and every day. They do this tirelessly to serve us. So we're not here to bash them, but what we are here to do, we are gathered here to collect ourselves for the moral and social calling to move this great city towards a more perfect union. So as I stand here today recording this message for you, I'm standing at a historic point in a historic time. See, I'm standing right now in the city of South Fulton. Again, I'm at a school, so you'll hear the intercom, you may hear people working in the background. But South Fulton is the 3rd largest city in the county, and we are now the 6th largest in Georgia. See, our city stands on the blood of neighboring tribes of Creek and Cherokee Native Americans. And we're standing at a pivotal site right now that during the Revolutionary and Civil War, see, we're standing on the sacrifice and the blood of the lives of those heroes, great men and women, so that we today, this day, as a group of people in a new city that have this white-hot burning desire, we get to accept the responsibility of moving our 7 districts, our neighboring cities to the right and to the left, all of our communities, all the different subdivisions. You may be looking, you have a neighbor on the left of you and a neighbor on the right of you. Your families, all of our families, all of South Fulton, we get to move us toward a more perfect union. And we get to do that with all the information that is vying for our attention on a daily basis about our city and the media. The media likes to tell us stuff about this candidate or tell us stuff about that candidate, and they like to, they don't verbalize the inspiration and hope that is found in all of our positive, smiling faces, so that we get to maintain a posture of readiness and holding on and still expectation. And that may be uncomfortable for us to wake up and hear how the media paints us as this mono-demographic city. But see, we are awakened by a unified group of people, and that is the reason for me being here today. We are at the catalyst for, and we must have the courage and hope for all of humanity. And I'm speaking to you today, offering a commitment to show my ability to meet expectations. I'm here for you, the ordinary heroes, the grandparents, the grandaunts and uncles, the mentors, the big brothers, the mamas and daddies, the sisters, whose real strength is in their and your ability to care, to love, that feel a flutter in the belly that is followed by a willingness to believe that with sound policy and a demonstration that constant work, sustainable employment, that everything will be all right. And we'll get to multiply this consciousness of truth, of free enterprise and social awareness. Because within me, within all of us, This is the magnificent power that we have to wake up the consciousness of not only Fulton County or even of Georgia, but of all of America. Because we will lead all of America, us, to be that radiant beauty of a revived community, one unified community. Instead of us reminding ourselves of obstacles or competition, I like for us to ask ourselves, how can we be of service? And then take action. I can stand here recording this message and say, vote for me, but maybe you haven't imagined what a unified city of 7 districts look like. Maybe you haven't seen a true representation of strength that a unified city of people have. And you haven't seen that in so long that now that you think about it, you might become aware of a deepening feeling of hope for your family, or maybe for that business you're going to start, or for your ability to vote for your dreams and your aspirations, so that you might become aware of an emerging sense of confidence as you think right now about what happens when you imagine yourself enjoying all the benefits of having the strength, the voice of a unified citizen-led government. Now see, I attract people to me who recognize and remember their reason for being an optimist, for being a South Fultoner, for studying, working constantly, never stopping, always straying and striving and staying busy, grinding, focusing on improvement. I attract people who possess the God-given power to face the future, stand up, unify, and that vote to maintain our God-given freedom to lawfully pursue happiness. See, the citizens of South Fulton, we stand up for what is right. We pass and strike down laws and urge our congressmen and legislators to make laws for moral reasons. We wage wars on the crime in our city and not poor people. We sacrifice and care about, and we love our neighbors. We put our money where our mouths are, and we never let our ego get in the way of righteousness. See, we are here in South Fulton, we are the entrepreneurs that build the next big thing. We make Star Trek technological advances. We are the trailblazers of the movie industry, of the music industry. We are the producers of the next world-renowned doctor, or the next Nobel Prize winner, or poet laureate. See, South Fulton, it's your sons and your daughters that are the next Oscar winner. They are the next ballerina or pianist or Olympic gymnast. See, in South Fulton, we incubate and nurture the world's greatest artists and the world's greatest economy. We reach for the stars. As a South Fultoner, we act respectful. We're grown women and men who inspire and revere intelligence, not gossip and bullying. South Fultoners, we identify ourselves by our principles, by our character, by our integrity, our Southern hospitality, even if you weren't born in the South or born here in South Fulton. And we stand our ground and we don't scare so easily either. But see, we're able to do all these things and to be all these things, not simply because we were born in South Fulton or we live in South Fulton or that we voted for the city or not. We're able to do all these things because we simply don't know any better. Within our 100 square mile boundary that is a combination of land and water, just like every other place on this planet, South Fultoners don't know any better than to not go. We don't know any better than to not do or to not be these things. See, South Fultoners as a whole, we must realize we are #1 in optimism. We have a dream that surpasses any fleeting statistic on education or mortality or diversity and inclusion, crime, or something like the number of citizens that wear seatbelts or the average consumption of fast food. See, statistics change with the direction of the wind. But what makes us special, what lasts, what is sound, the gold standard of South Fulton is its citizens. It's our dreams. And I want you to not ever let anybody tell you that you don't matter. Don't let a Democrat or a Republican, don't let your pastor or teacher or the mass media, a guy or a girl, even your parents, don't let them tell you that, because you do matter. Your dreams are important to South Fulton as a whole. And it's not just the dreams of one particular more affluent area. It's not just the dreams of government officials or law enforcement. It's not just the dreams of any of those people. It's the dreams of every single citizen. No citizen will be left behind. Because see, we nurture our dreams in South Fulton. We protect them. And some people may feel it's their right to tell you that you can't do something just because they don't feel that they can do it. And they want to tell you the same thing. But see, the South Fulton dream is one of, we want to achieve something, we achieve it. That's it. We achieve it whether on our own or 99% of the time with the collaborative efforts of others that share the same dream. That is it, period. We achieve. Now I want you to think about and look at something right now. Think of some major goal you want, or maybe it's something you already are working on. And maybe with that goal, you've experienced a lot of setbacks, a lot of defeats. You may have experienced some disappointments when it comes to achieving that goal. Maybe you've already even given up, and maybe you just need a little inspiration, a little encouragement to get back up, get back on task. And here's what I want you to look at. See, there are winners, and then there are losers, but then there are just some people who have not discovered how to win. And all they need is some coaching. All they need is some help and assistance. Just a little support. All they need is some type of incubator of some sorts to give their idea insight or a different strategy or plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to this unlimited power that they have within themselves. That's all that they need. That's it. So what I want you to do right now is think about something that you want for you. And I want it to be something that's real for you, something that's important for you, that will give your life some special meaning and power. And you're going to say something to yourself, and I don't want you to say, I can do that. No, I don't want you to assume that. I want you to be able to say something to yourself that will be the foundation. It will be a foundation as strong and wide as the Great Pyramids. I want you to say something to yourself that will enable you to maintain a level of fortitude that when you say this, even when you are faced with tremendous setbacks, it will be an urging sound that you hear that keeps you progressing forward. It'll keep you moving forward and experimenting when it comes to that goal, and maybe readjusting your strategy and readjusting your plan of action. Continuously looking for ways to win. So now what is that something? When you've got an idea that you want to move on, you might not have the money. Sometimes you might not have the business plan. You might not have all the answers. You might not have the support that you feel you need or the resources that you need. So what is that something that can keep us all going, that will enable us to act on our dreams? What is that key phrase that will come to your mind, that comes to mind when you are faced with an important decision, that will begin to help you to discover the secrets of our dreams? Here's the phrase that will repeat in your head with power and conviction. You'll hear yourself say, I'll never be left behind. It's possible. It's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. Just say that every day to yourself. It's possible. Because what does that do? See, it begins to reinforce the decisions and the choice to check your goals and remind yourself it's possible. So if you're feeling left out or left behind by the current system or hashtag disenfranchised, the reality is not that we don't matter or our dreams and goals don't matter. See, our goals, dreams, and aspirations matter. The realization is that you're powerful beyond measure. When we unite to let your voice be heard, let your bright light shine, you matter. We're heard. See, playing it small or thinking, yeah, but Robert, I'm only one person. I don't need to vote because my voice is so small. It's just a drop in the vast ocean and won't be missed. I want you to understand that the current mayor of Atlanta was elected by 714 votes. That number is less than the student population of some of the middle schools in our area. Just 714 votes. So what that lets us know that every vote truly counts on the local level. See, it could be said that local government is actually the modern version of tribes from long ago, and that local government was organized to bring structure to the daily life and security to each person under one common belief and one common way of doing things, and that we elect people at the local level to serve us, to service our needs. That would be our schools, police, fire, medical, the jobs, the roads, water. They all come back to the decisions made by our servants in local government. See, President Trump didn't put that pothole on Welcome All Road. And President Trump isn't going to go to Welcome All Road to fix that pothole. It'll be the mayor or council member whose mother or wife or brother or sister hits that same pothole and gets a flat tire. Then we'll be on that pothole in a dash. In South Fulton, due to technological advancements, we can no longer fool ourselves that we are in some type of biodome where our decisions only affect us here in South Fulton, and we can just kind of keep our treasures safely tucked away inside of our tradition and selfishness. Our present leap in technology has placed us on a global microscope, but it has also taken our eyes off of a simple truth. See, technology lets us think or know that we can visit cyberspace, but we must remember we live face to face, hand in hand, neighbor to neighbor. See, we were all meant to shine as children do. The light of mattering isn't just something that the media can shine on celebrities or the top 1 or 10% of income earners. For us at South Fulton, and that burning candle, that flame, that light that's in you, that is in me, this our light to let shine. And when we let our light shine, we unconsciously give others around us permission to do the same. The lumen is the scientifically derived unit of luminous flux, which is a measure of the total quantity of visible light. That light is emitted by a source, and the lumen can be thought of casually as a measure of the total amount of visible light each one of us as an individual shines. See, a single lumen is one burning candle. And we all know what happens when you enter a room of darkness and you light one burning candle. See, our one candle within our hand, we as an individual can choose, just like that burning candle, what to think. We have that God-given freedom at any moment in our life. And when we accept ourselves and we accept that we do matter, our light shines. And when our light shines, it attracts others to let their light shine as well. As a collective, unified with a dream of freedom to choose for all, we move towards a more perfect union of other shining lumens, that together we emit a radiant flux of magnetic waves or a luminous flux that serves as a beacon of hope so bright that the entire world will see it. And it is this beacon of bright light that liberates us from the dark room of our own fears, the dark room of our procrastination. And its liberation automatically liberates others. So nobody else can determine if you do or don't matter. You make that determination. You determine that you do matter. Because I think you've achieved a success far beyond riches and fame. Look around you. Even if you don't believe in the history of I Pencil or Adam Smith's Wealth of a Nation, there is not a presence around you that you have not influenced in some shape, form, or fashion. And see, your city is better because of you. And that is why I stand here right now running for the first choice for mayor of South Fulton. Because I am better because of you. We are your light. We are the lumens whose light shine because you expressed your freedom, your choice to let your light shine. We are the beacon of light that shines for all of South Fulton, all of Georgia. Our light shines for the entire world to see because our light is a shining light that attracts all of the world to us. We are one sovereign city under God, our 7 districts indivisible with prosperity, safety, quality education, quality ambulance service, quick response time for 911 calls, safe neighborhoods, activity centers. We have quality groceries and restaurants with healthy food choices. See, South Fulton is one united city for liberty and justice for each and every citizen. There will be no citizen left behind. That is what has allowed us to become a desirable place for others to relocate that have an array of diversity and people from diverse areas and backgrounds. And no one area of our city is entitled to clean, safe streets with quality schools. No one area in our city, no specific income level, no education level is too small to deserve its protection, its opportunity, its growth. It's not too small to deserve its jobs or equal representation. And see, we will be seen as the most progressive, shining star in our country. Now, earlier I said that America's founding fathers, they had a motto of E pluribus unum. What is important to you in a unified, well-functioning city or government? I see your vote for me as mayor represents a unifying of our city. For far too long, we have allowed others in the media and around the neighboring counties to paint us as this mono-demographic, stagnant area. Well, right now we're here because we understand that today, more than ever, that if South Fulton is to become the torchbearer and bring light and hope to an America that is kind of shaking and trembling right now, or an America that is ignoring the law and our society's values, or an America that is casting out morality and good judgment, or America that is sacrificing others because they feel that they have lesser goals. See, my candidacy for mayor of South Fulton sends a representation that we, as a unified city of 7 districts, will have an abundant opportunity to share our achievements and offer to Americans everywhere a template in infrastructure, a template in enterprise, safety, senior services, education, community development, a template for hope so that the downtrodden will have the ability to push past their own limits and to find the needed strength to strike up a spark that ignites the fires of hope and opportunity in a city that may feel frustrated or that they're in a less than ideal situation. So if you want to improve your zone schools, protect your home, have nearby restaurants and grocery stores, if you want to have a thriving climate for business and one of growth, The only possible candidate for mayor is the first candidate on the ballot. See, if you want adequate senior services, clean, safe streets, sidewalks, attractive parks, if you want quick response for our fire and police and for our ambulance services, there is only one possible choice for mayor. Robert Barner as your choice for the first mayor of South Fulton.